Republic of Armenia to Canada.
Barev! Honorable Minister Kenny, Minister of Defense and Multiculturalism, Members of Parliament, Excellencies, Members of Diplomatic Corps, compatriots from Armenian communities of Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, and elsewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, the date is here. We are commemorating the solemn centennial anniversary of the genocide of Armenian people, the memory of over 1.5 million people that perished. Yeganian is the first genocide of the 20th century. This is a fact acknowledged by the world, a fact denied by only 2 members of international community. 100 years ago today, more than 300 Armenian intellectuals were arrested, tortured, murdered, or said to be deported by the fading Ottoman Empire. We consider this day the inception of Armenian genocide, a pre-devised plan of annihilating Ottoman Christians and creating a pan-Turkic Islamic empire from Istanbul to the outskirts of China. Genocide did not leave any Armenian unaffected. Believe me, you will not find an Armenian who did not lose member of family in the genocide or does not have a history of his great-grandfather fleeing from Yeganian or the homeland and finding safe haven outside of Ottoman Turkey. But Armenian genocide is not just a memory in the hearts of Armenians. It is more than that. It set the practice of racial extermination as a tool of policy in a modern world. And it was echoed in Holodomor, Holocaust, genocides in Cambodia, Rwanda, Darfur, and elsewhere. The inability of the international community to adequately condemn the atrocities against Armenians, Greeks, and Assyrians in the Ottoman Empire are in the roots of our failure to prevent other crimes against humanity. The ongoing denial of the genocide does not help that cause either. To quote His Excellency Edward Nalbandian, Armenian Foreign Minister, denial is not opening the door for reconciliation. It opens the door to new crimes against humanity. The state denial of the Turkish Republic is unacceptable and should not be tolerated by the international community. As urged by Pope, European Parliament, over 2,000 state governments and parliaments, nearly every US state, most reputable scholars, and international organizations in the field, it is time to face the historical injustice towards the Armenian nation and recognize its pain. Thank you to all those states and organizations. And thank you, Canada. We are humbled for Canada's recognition of Yeganian and its consistent support to human rights issues in the international arena. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier this year, the Pan-Armenian Declaration on the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide was adopted by the combined commission of the Armenian government and the diasporan organizations, which condemned, and I quote, the genocidal acts against the Armenian people planned and continuously perpetrated by the Ottoman Empire and various regimes of Turkey in 1894-1923. Dispossession, dispossession of the homeland, the massacres and ethnic cleansing aimed at the extermination of the Armenian population, the destruction of the Armenian heritage, as well as denial of the genocide. All attempts to avoid responsibility, to consent to oblivion, the committed crimes and their consequences, or to justify them as a continuation of this crime and encouragement to commit new genocides. The declaration called upon the Republic of Turkey to recognize and condemn the Armenian genocide committed by the Ottoman Empire and to face its own history and memory through commemorating the victims of that heinous crime against humanity and renouncing the policy of falsification, denialism, and banalizations of this indisputable fact. It supported those segments of Turkish civil society whose representatives nowadays dare to speak out against the official position of authorities and express the hope that recognition and condemnation of the Armenian genocide by Turkey will serve as a starting point for the historical reconciliation of the Armenian and Turkish people. Dear friends, yesterday, at the center of Armenian Christian religion, the Holy See of Mother Echmiadzin, the last Requiem liturgy for the souls of the victims of Armenian genocide was provided. It was last time, as yesterday, the victims of the Armenian genocide were commended as holy martyrs, and they were canonized to be saints as of now. And today, early in the morning, the commemoration of the centennial anniversary of the Armenian genocide started in Yerevan in the presence of many world leaders, presidents, and prime ministers, cabinet ministers, including Canada's Chris Alexander. Over 1 million people were out in the streets of Yerevan walking to lay flowers at the eternal fire of Tsitsernakaberd, the Armenian Genocide Memorial. Simultaneously, this centennial is commemorated by every Armenian community from Sydney to Vancouver. The Armenian genocide is a part of Armenian identity, and its centenary is certainly grievous and sad. But I want to assure you of one thing. The centennial anniversary is not an end. Centenary is a beginning. It's a foundation of stronger Armenian nation, stronger Armenian statehood, and a beacon of brighter future. The Armenian people have survived the first genocide of the modern era, and 100 years later, stand here today and all around the globe to remind that the plans of our demise have failed. Մենք մեզ ոչ մեկից չեն գերադասում, բայց մեզ էլ գիտենք, մեզ հայ են ասում, եւ ինչու պիտի չպարտանանք, կանք, եղել ենք եւ դեռ պիտի շատանանք։ Ladies and gentlemen, Armenian people have endured a lot of suffering in the past. We have now risen from the ashes and are moving towards a future of many, many more triumphs. No, we will never forget our past. We will never cease to demand justice. But we'll do it only with our heads high, strong, ambitious, and determined. Our claim is just, and it prevails. Thank you.